And this one's going to be, yeah, the moment you guys been waiting for. Let's talk a little bit about Supergirls. Oh man, Supergirl, Supergirl. What happened to Supergirl? All right. So before we start talking and have a discussion about Supergirl, I'm going to let everybody know, if you have not watched the movie, you've had plenty of time. I know Matt is here. Matt practically felt like he's watched it with all our conversations already. But we're going to do a full spoiler review, but I'm giving you guys a heads up. It is going to be a full spoiler review. Both Cliff and I managed to see the movie. I saw it on Thursday. When did you see it?
Wednesday.
You saw it on Wednesday. So you saw it on Wednesday. I saw it on Thursday. It's still fresh in our mind. We're going to take the opportunity here to really go into some of the things that worked with it and some of the things that didn't work. So first things first, let's go with the facts. The facts are straight. As of right now, as the time that I put this together, it made 38 million domestic and it only made 30 million international, with which is a full worldwide box office of $68 million. That is bad. It had a production budget of 170 to 175 million. That's not including marketing. So marketing, you could add an additional 100 million to that. So that's the thing with that. The box office outlook, it's underperforming. It needs strong legs to even break even, and it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. The Rotten Meter percentage as the time of like build this was 56%. Audience score was 77, so the audience generally thought it was okay. Like that's how I felt. It was fine. It wasn't great. The cinema score, that's bad. B minus is a bad cinema score. IMDb ratings was 6.1 out of 10, and the Metacritic score was 58 out of 100. This movie needs 425 million just to break even, and at the time, it only hit 16% of that goal. It's not, I don't even think it's going to hit 50% of that goal.
According to what Bruce says in the chat, is they didn't have to pay for marketing.
Oh, they paid for marketing. There's always being paid. Now, when it comes to money that they made, they did mention that they made 100 million in product placements. So, and I will say they did a pretty good job in the movie, not doing, not putting it like out in our face in that way. I think there was some moments here and there, but it wasn't in our face, the product placement. But most movies do that. That's why a movie like Superman, you could say Superman didn't break even in the box office, but actually it did. It made it 700. But you could say because of what other people do with product placement and all that stuff, that's how it makes its money back. But when it comes to raw box office figures, Superman did pretty good. It didn't hit 1 billion, but I don't think that was ever the intention of the movie. So, however, with something like Supergirl, 68 million in its first weekend is bad. It wasn't even number one. Toy Story took the number one spot. 38 million domestically, that's really bad for a movie like this.
I mean, this was a year of lots of movies too, getting its way.
And that's true, but its competition was Toy Story, and Toy Story had its second week.
Oh my God, Toy Story is doing gangbusters,
and it's a good movie. I saw Toy Story; it's pretty good.
That's what I hear from everybody.
It's better than 4. There's definitely some tearjerker moments in it. All right, so with that said, let's move on to some of the stuff about who's in the movie and some of the information about the movie. So the cast, we already know Millie Alcott plays Supergirl. Eve Ridley was Ruthie. Matheson Shonar, who where is he from? He played Krem. Jason Momoa is Loba, and David Cornsweet. He showed up a few times in the movie.
Yes.
Which was fine to me. As far as the plot goes, he's her cousin. Ruthie's going on the seeking vengeance. We'll talk a little bit about the comparison of the adaptation, but it was adapted primarily off of Women of Tomorrow, or so we thought it was. Um, Craig Gillespie was the director who did I, Tanya. He's also responsible for Cruella. Uh, the screenwriter was Anna Noguera, who is credited for doing TV show, but she's never done a movie
Yep.
screenplay. And of course, James Gunn and Peter Safran are the executive producers. Tom King also served as an executive producer, and he was also the writer of Women of Tomorrow, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Which, by the way, he was consulted. That was like it. This title they gave him was a gift.
Yeah, that was a credit. So if the movie makes money, he makes money. He makes something. That's the point of it. Overall, let's focus on the cast itself. Okay, before we start talking about the movie. I was fine with the casting choices.
I'm very fine with the casting choices.
Right? I don't think there was a single person in the movie that I had a problem with. Maybe their portrayal of a character I had a problem with, but not so much them. You know what I mean? I do think Eve Ridley, the girl that played Ruthie, she was fine. She got annoying a couple of times in my mind, but she was fine. What's your thoughts on Eve Ridley?
I thought she was fine.
Yep. What about Krem, the Matheson?
I thought he was better. I thought he was better than people gave him credit for.
Yeah.
You know?
But he was very by the numbers type of thing.
I know, but you know, he was swarthy. He made sure that came off on the screen, and I think it worked for him because let me tell you something. I've heard people go on and on and on about how forgettable he is, yet they know the name Krem. So he did something right, which means he's not forgettable. There's a bunch of Marvel villains that are forgettable. A bunch. All right. You know, do you know how hard it is to remember who's in Thor: The Dark World? But I do.
At least the actor. Who's the actor?
Right. He was the ninth Doctor of Doctor Who. Like, I mean, like, you know, that's as much as I can remember.
Yep. Exactly.
Right, I feel Ruthie narrating it in the comic had more impact. We'll get to that later, but I enjoyed everyone's performance. I thought they did what they were supposed to do. I would be happy to see more of Supergirl. I wouldn't even mind if we saw a little bit more of Ruthie down the road for some reason.
I think there's a possibility we will.
Well, I know a possibility if this thing hasn't set a trajectory straight into the side of a volcano.
I think there will be some more Ruthies in the future. All right.
I hope that there is a DCU to get to see it.
So let's do some comparisons. Well, first of all, the movie live action Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow was a Black Label comic series. It's set within the DC universe general, right? It's not a Black Label like an Elseworlds. It's just Black Label because it was more adult theme to it.
I would argue more so that because they weren't using the Elseworld label at that time.
Yeah. So you would have called it an Elseworlds type story rather than it's just an adult story?
I mean, right, because a lot of Elseworlds were fairly adult the way I remember. I'm just saying, I didn't feel like this was so terrible that like, oh, it has to be Black Label. It wasn't like she was walking around the Batcave swinging around her penis. Like, it wasn't like that. So,
but it was an adult theme. That's what it. They did with the Black Label.
Theme, murder, revenge. You know, there was bleeped out cursing. All
right, so let's.
Oh wait, I want to address this. Did y'all get the comic books they were giving out in the theater? Okay. I did not get the comic books.
You had to be an IMAX.
Pissed. I went to IMAX.
And when did you go? On Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
They didn't have the comic book on Wednesday?
They didn't have it. And by the way, I checked with the theater again on Thursday and Friday. They never got it.
Was it AMC?
Yes, it was.
That sucks.
It does suck.
Sorry.
And I would have gotten two.
All right.
At least.
We're going to talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the differences that the movie had with the story. It adapted the outline of the movie, of the story, but it didn't adapt the story. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Like characters in the movie were the characters that were in the story. Maybe certain scenarios or the beats were in there, but one for one, it didn't do it, which I think was a bigger problem, which is another reason why I think they might have changed the name of the movie. Because originally the movie was going to be called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And they scrapped that. They did. Imagine if they did. That would have been rough.
That would have been brutal.
Like, they took that off.
I got to tell you, I honestly think it was a huge detriment to go on and on in the marketing about how this was based on Woman of Tomorrow. I think that was...
Oh, no, I think they were doing what they can to do it. Especially, you know, we have Supergirl Day with Superman Day and things like that. I think that was intentional, that they were doing all that stuff.
The wrong message.
It was they literally took the character, and it almost as if they went to ChatGPT and said, tell me this story and make a script out of this.
Yeah.
And I think to the writers, I'm going to give the writers some kind of credit. I believe she read the story, she did her writing, and my personal thoughts, because this does happen, I believe the director made alterations, and those are the alterations that damaged the movie. And no one, this is where James Gunn comes into play, no one said this is not the way the story goes. That's how I felt, because the beats were there. They just, instead of going right, they went left. But it was there. You know what I mean? Everything about Krem, about the ending, about all this stuff that was there, about the character of Kal-El, the character of Ruthie, all of it was there, but they just said, in the comic book, this character does this. Okay, but in the movie, she does this instead. And that's the part that made no sense to me. You know, the different worlds we go to. We only really go to like 3 worlds in this movie.
And it's not nowhere near the journey in the book.
Yeah.
You know?
So and the book itself is a Max series, so it's a 12-issue series.
It's not 12 issues.
Was it
not
12
issues?
Or 6?
No, it's 8 issues. 8 issues.
I'm thinking 12 issues for some reason. But
Maxi series has to be a minimum of 8, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So the book it's deep. You have enough material to create a movie, a 2-hour movie out of it, but you're going one direction with it, and you just keep doing that over and over. And I do believe that's the director's fault. The screenwriter is going to write their screenwriter based on what they have. They may make some alterations. They might turn it into a script with dialogue rather than story beats and things like that. But at the end of the day, I saw Woman of Tomorrow being demonstrated to a certain extent in this movie. The only thing is, it's like we just decided to go a different direction that the book did. And that's what I saw.
Very different.
You know?
I would have enjoyed if they had pushed some of the lessons from the book.
They did it. They in fact, they completely contradict what the book did.
Well, no, the biggest lesson of the book is the most contradicted thing here.
Yeah.
Right? So, I believe that they made changes to like why Ruthie is on her revenge mission. In this movie, they kill her whole family. In the comic, it was just
which is fine. That to me was fine.
I thought that was great for making a bigger investment in her revenge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? For Supergirl, Krypto's actually in danger in the movie, where in the comic, it's revealed he was never in any real danger. Supergirl was really traveling with this girl essentially to save her soul.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to, or preserve
in the movie, it wasn't like that. In the movie, she's out for revenge for Krypto. She's out to get the cure for Krypto, right? The remedy where Krypto gets hit by the arrow, which I'm going to talk about that a little later. There's a problem I have with that arrow. And then she goes out and we get a little bit of her origin story of what happened in Krypton and things like that. They really double down on on Jor-El, who he is. I love I love how they just threw that in there as a line. It's like would be
just
conqueror.
to double down on it.
Oh, that was pandering right there. That was like, look, we told you. So there was that. I like how they told that story. I like the dynamic between her and Clark, and how she calls him Clark instead of Kal-El, which I thought that was pretty interesting to me. So I did like that part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, in this movie, she's actually younger than him, which I thought was weird because technically she's older than him. In the comic book, she's older than him from last I remember. But because she aged differently and things like that, that's kind of what happened here. Overall, the movie went one way, the comic book, and it decided we're going that route. And I don't think anybody was really paying attention to that, or they didn't understand what the theme of the book really was supposed to be. That's where the problem lies. Where in the movie really didn't have a theme that you want to do. I'm sorry, it just didn't. All right, moving on. Okay, so what works? Let's talk about what works first, and then we'll get into the big heavy stuff. I think Millie Alcott's performance was great. I think she was good. Now, again, this is all what works as per reviews, so I'm gathering this information from the reviews. Crypto's always a fan favorite, so the little moments we had of Crypto was fun. There was comments that they liked the cosmic visuals and world building. I don't really think that exists, but again, I'm basing this off of what reviews are saying. There was emotional themes of grief and redemption. Yes and no.
By the way, how are we basing this on reviewers? This movie is just atrocious.
Well, there were reviews that said things like this. This is what they're saying. I'm not saying that they're final reviews.
What I'm saying is, I've never met reviewers more full of crap than with this movie. The crap, like Jason, what's his name? Jay Canarova, whatever the hell he is. He said things about this movie that were outrageous. Okay. He said there's nothing in the movie to help you identify with Supergirl, which is madness to me.
No, that's not true.
Because that was absolutely not true. There is plenty of stuff here for us to get to understand her background and trauma. So he effed up in my eyes. There's a bunch of people who said, "Oh my God, this is so great! It's amazing!" All little girls, like, take your little girls to see this movie. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think this is a heart. This is not an example piece.
Who said a lot of crap.
No, I don't think that
right, or that I didn't even think was legit.
I think her motivation to save Crypto was there. I think that was good. I think Ruthie's motivation of getting to Krem was also good. Her revenge plot was good. That part I think was good. I didn't like her portrayal though, like how Ruthie was portraying it. That I wasn't too crazy about. Lobo. Let's talk a little bit about what worked with Lobo.
Lobo worked, period. The only thing about Lobo that is off is like, why did he just let himself get captured and put?
Oh no, but there is some talks about what they actually meant by that. But what I do know is when he was on screen, he stole the movie.
Him and Superman.
Yeah, when he was on the screen, it was all about him. It was everything about him. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about what didn't work. Pace was too slow, tonally inconsistent. Lobo overshadows the story. Emotional impact misses and lack of villain depth. That's what they're saying.
I will argue against the pace is too slow. The movie is only an hour and 44 minutes. It didn't have time for the place. The first act drags bull. So out with pace is too slow. I refuse to land that as a problem. Tonal inconsistency, yes, and I will only say that. I won't even say that based on whether it's lighthearted or not. It's not very lighthearted. It is a little bit darker. All right.
Lobo overshadowed the movie.
Lobo didn't overshadow, but he was a scene stealer, so I'm not going to give it that. Emotional impact misses.
What was the story supposed to have been?
All right. Several critics felt the emotional beats didn't land as intended because they sucked and weren't paying attention. Lack of villain depth, of course, I will give that to you, but at least people remember his damn name. So there is that.
Creme of the hills.
This
Okay, so
crap
let's
here.
talk. Okay, so let's go. Now we're really going into this one. All right, I'm going to tell you what I saw. Okay, I saw a series of conveniences for Supergirl.
You know
the
what?
movie was
I don't
full
even
of
know
that.
if that's fair, Izzy, because there's so
But
many
it's
movies.
true. There was so
I don't
many.
care. There's
But,
so
but
many
at this
movies
point,
that
it just
make
kept
it
happening,
inconvenient.
bro. It just
But
kept
the thing-
happening.
I
She
just
goes
wanna
to
know,
a planet.
what's actually wrong
She
with the
goes
movie?
to a planet, right? This planet has a yellow and green sun. Huh? I wonder
That
why
is
it has a
bull.
yellow.
That green sun pissed me off to no
Okay,
end.
but keep in mind this. It is a yellow and green sun. They're telling you up front this is yellow and green sun. What they're telling you is, yeah, this is going to turn yellow soon. So she's going to be okay later. They're telling me that. They're telling me that in moments, Lobo just happens to just show up and he's doing his thing. It's just telling me about how Ruthie just happens to be here, there, everywhere. Why wasn't she picked up from the traffickers?
And they looked right at her and they said, "Why don't we
Why
take
didn't
her?"
he take her? She's a cute girl. Why didn't he take her to be a bride? Right?
Also, the movie chose to do the 3-day clock.
The 3-day clock. Oh, here's another one. No one knows about kryptonite. Why does he have 2 arrows with kryptonite? Because
why
do
you think no one knows about
in
kryptonite?
The movie, I'm going based off the movie here.
But
why does he know
Why
this?
would no one know about kryptonite?
But why would he know about it? Why would he
Because
have it ready?
Number one, if they are space travelers, they know Krypton exploded. All right.
Okay, but how do they know that kryptonite's a thing?
If Superman has been active for 2 years and the Green Lanterns know about Earth, then maybe people in space know about the Kryptonians.
It's a convenience. Here's another thing.
It may be convenient, but it's not overly wild.
But how come in some places he seemed to be overpowering everybody, but in other places he got his ass whipped?
Because there was a red sun involved.
So what? But how it affects him? How does that affect? How does that?
It does. It only affects her. He has super strength. Okay.
But
so
there was moments that it was okay. There was moments that wasn't okay.
Under a red sun, he's more of a threat. That's it. It's very simple.
Okay. All right. Lobo. Let's go with Lobo here. Lobo had nothing to do with the movie. He was just there to steal the show. He had no purpose in this movie. Yes, he had a bounty on the other guy. He didn't even have a bounty on Krem. He had a bounty on the other guy. And then what happens to the other guy? Just conveniently gets killed.
And beheaded, and Lobo grabs the head and takes off. And by the way, and literally...
We got nothing on that guy either. It's just the guy that Lobo needs to get. We know nothing about this guy.
Anyhow, that doesn't really matter. It just gives Lobo a minor plot point.
But Lobo had a better place, though. And
Lobo has a better place. Number one, he's a foil to Kara. Kara's like, don't kill him. Don't do that. No. And Lobo's like, who cares? Kill him. He's a scumbag.
Yeah. Lobo made more sense than she did.
Yeah. Well, Lobo externalizes revenge in this movie.
Yeah.
And
but he made more sense than Kara did when she's had. Kara was contradicting everything she was saying to Ruthie. Don't do this. And then she does it. Ruthie, all Ruthie wanted to do was to kill Krem. She had her opportunity, and Kara's like, okay, I'm going to stop you from doing this. For what? So that she could do it?
Well, you got to our final point, which is, she had.
Oh, Mark is here. He's ready. Why didn't he kidnap Ruthie? Why didn't they put Krem in chill? Lobo wasn't just in. How did they have the arrows ready? Why didn't Kara care serum? Conveniences, bro. Conveniences. There was way too much of that.
So anyhow, listen. Mark went on for 90 minutes about how much he hated this movie this afternoon.
I know. I was there. I saw most of it. I misread the book. Yeah, how could you misread the book? That's the whole thematic part of the book. It's stupid. I just know my wife's gonna come in. Can you not scream? Right? Lobo got some. All right, here's the other thing.
Yes, just like a man.
So here's how I see this. Okay. At the end of the movie, tell me if this would have worked for you, because this is how it would have worked for me. Yes, we're going to divert from the book for a moment here, right? Because in the book, it's a little different. She sends him out to the Phantom Zone. He actually gets better and all that crap, right? But the movie's not going to do this part, right? In the movie, she goes up. Ruthie's about to kill him. Kara stops her, says that she's innocent. This is not who you are, right? So Ruthie finally agrees to that. She does that, and what does Kara do? Mind you, we have nothing on Kara's backstory other than what happened in Krypton. For all we know, Kara's in the same place as Ruthie. We don't know if she's killed before, but she kills. She kills Krem herself.
Now, again, because everything we've heard Kara say up until this point is she feels she's already too damaged.
But how is she too damaged? What happened in Krypton was according to her, what happened in Krypton was natural causes or something that happened with the core. She doesn't have anyone to blame for that. What happened, and
right,
it sucked.
But then kryptonite radiation killing her mother, her father prepping the rocket.
But she has no one to blame.
Well, I think she has some. She might blame.
No, she has a reason to be upset about it. But who does she have to blame? Who does she have? She's not seeking revenge to anybody for what happened. There's no reason behind that.
Apparently, the revenge is for Krypto. Mind you, Comet dying in the comic was a bigger reason for revenge in my book.
So she does the killing. What does that tell Ruthie? And does that mean that Kara was never an innocent soul to begin with?
Which is
again,
really
I
funny.
know nothing.
Superman gets the message to go and be fruitful and conquer, and then
he doesn't know this.
He doesn't know it, but that's the message for him. He turns out to be, Superman, sweetheart of Earth, right? And then she's getting her parents like, "We love you. We don't need you to be perfect. We just want
she had a good life. I gotta give it to her. Like, besides what happened, she had her parents there. They loved her. They took care of her. Her father loved her. Her mother loved her. She got sick. Of course, I get that part. That sucks. That obviously that could lead to the state of that you're in. I get that. But what I don't get is why does she feel vengeful? There is no reason for her to be vengeful.
Listen, that choice in the movie really doesn't work. And everyone who tries to defend it, I'm kind of like, my head is spinning.
Here's the other thing. The big line that the trailer gave us, the big line where she says he sees the good in people.
And I see the truth.
And I see the truth. What does that mean now? And then they threw it in the movie like it was a nothing piece.
Well, no, I think they want to show that she's the one who's willing to do anything. And I just think they did it poorly. And I think it's wise to address this.
Here's the other one. Where did the spaceship come from?
Her spaceship?
Yeah, where's it come from?
Get out of here with that nonsense. She has a ship. Who gives a flying?
Where did it come from?
Who gives a flying fig? Where did it come from? She has a ship. No one cares. We have
convenience.
I don't give a damn about it. She has a ship. Who cares? She has a ship.
But where did it come from? Who gave her the ship? I want to know the answers to these questions I have.
That is so dumb. That's not important. She already has the ship.
The music. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go to the music now. Because I'm gonna get back to this whole death scene, this murder scene. The music sucked. How they were trying to pull this whole Guardians of the Galaxy music thing by putting some different type of music.
Why does everyone keep doing this?
It's one of the things that really was driving me crazy.
You
try to give me the soundtrack of music I don't care about.
The only song in this movie that I remember, and it worked when they did it, was the remake of Jimmy.
The Middle?
The Middle. Yes.
What? No way, dude.
It's the only thing I remember.
It didn't work for me, I'll tell you that much. It didn't work for me.
Whatever. I'm just saying, I'm so tired of this. I hate this. I think we become cynical as fuck with these movies.
At the same time,
and I'm telling you,
that just didn't have. It couldn't tell the story the way it should have told the story. When she killed Krim. How's this? When she killed Krim, she should have just let him be, and Lobo should have been the one that killed him.
Everybody would have loved for Lobo to kill him, but
because that's what Lobo would have done. But it doesn't matter because she could have been like, stop, and then Lobo says, I did the job for you. That's it. That would have been fine. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that.
Lobo doesn't even have to say a thing. The ladies could have gone away, and Lobo could have finished him.
Served nothing to the movie other than he was there to be there.
No, he's also there to be a contrast to Kara, because Kara.
But he wasn't.
He does. Kara's like, don't kill him, don't kill him. The other guy is like, kill him, kill him, kill him.
I think Lobo's purpose in that movie didn't serve a purpose other than we just wanted to get Jason Momoa in this movie. He had no purpose in the movie. I love Lobo, and Mark, I know you're watching. I had my Lobo shirt on when I went to see this movie on Thursday. Okay, I'm just throwing that in there.
I think his purpose in the movie, and by the way, for someone who's only in the movie for 18 minutes or whatever, why are we thinking he's supposed to have a grand purpose? His purpose is just to be a freaking parallel to Kara's.
To give Ruthie a pep talk while she's in jail.
Yes, to be a parallel to. It's the only opportunity he gets to be the parallel to Kara. Right? Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I like the way this girl thinks. Yeah, get your revenge. You know?
Yeah. Could have been congrats. Yeah, I think Lobo should have been the one to off Krem. And I think the bounty should have been on Krem and not this other guy.
Again, convenient.
Like the other, whatever. Krem. Now, you read the story. Tell me a little bit about the character of Krem and how he really was supposed to be.
First of all, he's not even a brigand, right? Mostly he keeps escaping because of annoyance, not because of power shifts. Kara's got her powers most of the book. That green sun did rear its ugly head in the story, which pissed me off. But the green sun does not affect her the way kryptonite affects her, which pissed me off in this movie. But anyhow, yeah, Krem was like a nuisance. Also, there was no human trafficking in the comic. We had to throw that into the movie.
And it was just thrown in there too. They didn't make a big deal about it either. And let's be honest, Kara didn't give a damn about the traffickers.
But she did, and she did save them because
she saved them because that's what she has to do, right?
Well, no, but she still had a choice. She could have been like, it's too late, it's gonna blow up. But no, she went in there and she saved
but she's not that messed up. But they were not. It wasn't an essential part of the movie, as in, oh, this guy's a trafficker. That was for Ruthie's story. But then again, why didn't he take Ruthie? I'm just saying. That's the thing with the movie. Like, in all fairness, I watched it and it was fine. I didn't hate the movie, but the more I keep thinking about it, the more I keep seeing the problem that this movie had.
Because we're fixated on them.
Because we want it to be good.
Well, yeah, of course we want it to be good. And also, I want James Gunn to not be an asshole. I want all the things. Okay. And by the way, I actually kind of like James Gunn. Okay. Don't tell me everything's the greatest thing ever. Just stop saying that, James Gunn. Just shut up.
All right. Wait, they didn't want to cover genocide. What's going on? Yeah, I think
I don't know. We have plenty of trafficking in the world. I think the movie covered that. That the movie knocked.
Well, yeah, and it was a thing that was there. I don't think it wasn't something that was meant to be a big deal, which is kind of sucks when you really look at it. The infinity space between 1-to-1 adaptation and the complete subversions they gave us. Yeah, I think the bigger problem was they gave us the fruition that this was going to be Woman of Tomorrow, and it turned out it wasn't.
They gave us the impression it was going to be Woman of Tomorrow, yes, and it really, really was not.
Yeah. Again, they kept the characters, they kept certain things about it, but again, they decided to go left when the book goes right, which I think was problematic. Big problem to me. And it was so funny because I'm thinking about DJ here. I understand how he feels about Superman because he was kind of. You
know what's funny? You would think, based on everything he said about what he doesn't like about Superman, I think he would like this movie more.
No, he didn't like it. DJ didn't like it.
But she actually does things. Superman didn't get to do anything.
Okay. Conveniences.
Conveniences.
It's all about conveniences to me. It's all about conveniences. The movie is all about convenience.
And no one ever expects an exact one-on-one, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it is missing the soul of the book, whatever. I do think that maybe, perhaps, that there is something to the future of what took place in this movie. But I also feel that at the same time, they sabotaged us from getting there.
Yeah.
Because it was too soon for this movie. I don't think Supergirl was a bad move for a follow-up to Superman. I think all this Woman of Tomorrow talk was a bad move. I feel like the movie like had Ruthie, had Cram, had Kara, had plenty of reason for Ruthie to be all invested and upset. You know, Kara Spotted did a good job.
Yeah, man, he's the head elf.
Hey, they just told her to be good. You know, and and again,
killing someone ain't exactly good, if you know what I'm saying.
Well,
I don't consider that good.
I think full powered Kara with one of the greatest swords Ruthie's dad ever made, finishing him off was not like great. But I do think if it had been the Green Sun is back situation.
Oh no, it wasn't
better for the story.
It wasn't a play on defense or saving someone. It was just, this guy doesn't need to live anymore.
Yeah. Which that's again, was. She
played executioner. That's what she did. She was an executioner.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah. That's what she did. Did she have to do that? Not really.
No, but as some people pointed out, well, then what's stopping her from killing Lex? I'm like, I don't know, Superman, something.
Well, I honestly believe they did this because of the Superman movie that's coming. I think Man of Tomorrow will address this with Kara.
I wanted to.
I think it
successfully.
Will. I think it will, because we're going to have the Brainiac story. And based on what I think, I'm not saying what I know, but based on what I think, we're going to go with Brainiac was responsible for the explosion of Krypton. And then she's going to lose it. And then she's going to try to seek revenge too. That will be the revenge piece.
By the way,
some of the minions doing that. I'm just thinking about the actual minions. Did she kill any of the minions?
I don't recall her killing minions.
At the same time, again, we have no reason for her to be this way like this, especially if her father tells her to be good.
Listen, she's suffered a lot of loss, a lot of trauma. She's internalized it. She feels she's broken.
But she has no one to blame for it.
It doesn't matter. She feels, and maybe that's it. Maybe she just feels life is so just unfair, and that there is no perfect set of rules. But
Blue, thank you, Hyper Black Knight. We did it already for today, but thank you. I love it. About Hawkgirl. Oh yeah, about the Hawkgirl. I know.
Yeah, but see, Hawkgirl murdering a world leader in that movie, at least instantly in that movie, you already saw people. You already saw Rick Flag and the other guy in a room.
And it's Hawkgirl. We don't know Hawkgirl's backstory like that, but we know Hawkgirl's capable of doing that kind of stuff.
Well,
to your parent. I'm just saying there was no reason for her to be that. Who listens to their parents? All right, guys. I think we talked enough. Please, when you get a chance, I am going to release this as a separate video. Make sure you go back, you guys all are watching or subscribe, but leave a comment. Do me a favor, leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts on the movie was. You could go full spoiler. I don't care. I just want to hear what you guys got to say about it. Are we done, Cliff?
Read my last comment.
don't agree. You know, speaking of Elseworlds, we are gonna get to that. Oh my goodness. Oh man. I'm still laughing at that one. Exactly, Cliff. They were going. All right. So let's see here. That was my comment on my stream today, Cliff. The horse is now dead. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight. And I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.